Hello, Mr. Steam viewers. My name is Jekyllstein Gray, and welcome to my first. Just gonna make sure I get everything the way I wanted. I have no idea what graphics detail is, so yeah. Anyway, so we're playing a game that is very heavily inspired by Super Metroid, that I think is better than Super Metroid. This is a hill I am willing to die on, along with Mass Effect 3 having a good ending, Skyward Sword being very good and my favorite Zelda game, and more. Yeah, so this game is, this game has a more interesting story, which is a big plus for me. It has, its gameplay is I generally like it better. It does have some double tap dash stuff that I'm not too fond of, but it also doesn't have the awful grapple beam that Super Metroid had, and it doesn't, I also don't like Super Metroid's wall jumping, so there's that. I will say that the art style is not as good. I don't like it as much. Not necessarily, actually, the art style is really neat. I'll get more into that later, but more like the different areas have less distinction. You can still definitely tell them apart, but they aren't as different as different areas of Zetas or whatever. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's start Axiom Verge. So I'm playing this. I've played this before. I owned this game on the Switch and the Xbox One. I've beaten it on the Xbox One. I played a little bit of it on Switch, and now I'm playing this on Steam. I don't actually own it on PS4. I'm using a PS4 controller right now. PS4 is what it was originally released on, because Sony was like, hey, we'll give you money if you make this exclusive for a limited time. So here we got the main character doing this experiment. Got a little intro cutscene. So this is already, Metroid is kind of a darker franchise than most Nintendo franchises, but this is already more, I don't want to say, well, it's got a darker, more ominous tone. Like, there's nothing super dark here, there have been plenty of lighthearted movies about scientific experiments gone wrong, but, like, this music is pretty ominous, and I don't know, there's just something off about this whole thing. We'll get more into that. Like, the story in this game is actually pretty convoluted. It's like, I actually don't think I can fully wrap my head around it. I don't know, maybe it's been a while since I've, like, seriously played through this game. Yeah, so, let's see what we got. Wake up, Trace. So here we have this mysterious voice. It is funny how, there's the famous morph ball example in Metroid 1, and this we just have a voice telling you to go get it. This game is really not hand-holdy. Like, in fact, I actually think it's less hand-holdy than Super Metroid, but it also doesn't feel confusing. So I like it. I like that about it. For instance, there is a map screen, which is nice, especially compared to Metroid 1, but it's much less detailed. It's much less detailed than Super Metroid. Sorry, it's much less detailed than. Think, Jekyllstein. Train of thought was lost. Actually, it hasn't been happening to me for a while. Anyway, oh yeah, it's less. There's no like room where you go and it fills in a lot of the area map for you, which I personally like. I don't really want to tell people that their opinions on games are wrong, but I personally. This game strikes in my opinion, this game strikes a really nice balance between obtuse and, between being too obtuse and being too hand-holdy. And I can already see that there are going to be comments about, about me liking Skyward Sword, which in retrospect was pretty handholdy, but also wasn't trying. It wasn't trying to be Metroid and hold your hand, basically. It was designed with less anyway. You know, it's not like this game is trying to emulate old school Metroid, and I'm judging it based on that. You know, this. Oh yeah, for those of you who don't know, this game is also made by one person, Mr. Thomas Happ. And I would like to. I would love to meet him someday. I don't know. It's just a weird little thing I like. There's so many weird, like, random indie devs who I'd love to meet. Obviously, Ken Gao. I love To the Moon. Jennifer Schuerla, who I actually have talked to on the internet. And, you know, so there's this random, let me think. I don't know, Rami Ismail, even though I haven't really ever played a Vlambeer game. Anyway. Just like random devs I follow on Twitter and find interesting and would like to talk to. I'm still kind of in that, I don't know. I'm sure someday I'll look back and cringe at this, where I'll be like, oh man, I just thought meeting a real life game dev is, because I do, if you're joining me for the first time, first of all, welcome. But I do aspire to be an indie game dev at some point, and I'm sure I'll look back in the future and be like, oh man, he was, like, that guy I once was totally wanted to, like, totally thought that just meeting a game dev was super cool. So, anyway. It's not just a game dev, though, although there is a certain amount of that still with me, but it's also a matter of, it's also a matter of specific game devs who I personally admire. Anyway. So I'm trying to keep this a bit too auteur theory. I don't want to make this all about auteur worship, definitely. I'm not a 100% death of the author guy, but I also am pretty, again, like, I'm kind of like, about trying to read too much into the world. But with one person dev teams like this, it's more tricky. I mean, some games are like, you really can't judge them based on any one person, but this was made entirely by Tom Happ over 5 years. And I honestly think it's interesting to compare this to, not gonna fight this guy yet. Whew, I'm almost dead. Okay, we have this beeping noise that at first starts out as really annoying, but then it gets quiet and it moves to the beat of the music, which is a perfect balance in my opinion, because it lets you know you're in danger, but it also doesn't distract you and drive you crazy. Oh, well, I messed up there. Yeah, even on normal difficulty, this game can actually be pretty hard, which I'm not a fan of. But I actually am kind of glad that it happened at least once, because we get this scene, which is really interesting. Most games try to ignore the death, which I don't think is a problem, but I also like it when they try and he's like, I hope I'm misunderstanding something. Hello? Oh man, this is insane. Yeah, so the anyway. So obviously I actually compared Stardew Valley to this. Dang it. When I started playing that. And Stardew Valley is Stardew Valley is a very different game, but the one main similarity I was using was that they were both one-person long-term passion projects that were also heavily inspired by a single game, that were both take the broad strokes of those games but also improve on them. Of course, the games in question are Harvest Moon and Metroid, which are very different, so it's not entirely fair to compare them. But it's also an interesting point of similarity. Jeez! They have hard to predict patterns, and I'm bad at video games. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm actually really curious. You know, I mentioned the art design, and I kind of feel bad for implying that I didn't like it, because I actually do. And I'm actually curious as to what the inspirations behind it were, because there are some design. I mean, this world is actually much more bizarre and ominous than Metroid ever was. You know, Metroid, you could kind of imagine, this is like almost, some of this is like Geiger-esque, or Giger, the guy who designed the Xenomorph in the original Alien. Yeah, I do think that, it's weird because, again, like, you can definitely, I can picture, like, 5 different areas from this game now, and I haven't played this game in a while. I mean, I played a little bit of it more recently, but I haven't, like, gotten as far as yet. But, like, there's some, there is some really interesting, like, there are some really interesting environments. They do feel more samey than I would have thought. I don't know. I guess I'll talk about that more when I actually get to other areas. I already went there. That's what mostly killed me last time. Yeah, so I'm trying to think, what else do I have to say? Oh yeah, there's a sequel to this game coming out. It's funny because I actually didn't know about it until a friend of mine, who I don't think has played this game. He's the guy who does Over the Fourth Wall, which I'll put a link to in the description. You should go check his stuff out. Very analytical, like myself. He texted me, he just out of the blue, he just randomly texted me at the end of last year and was like, oh yeah, by the way, they announced Axiom Verge 2, and I was like, yes! Apparently you're going to be playing as a female character, which is nice, and you are also going to, and who is not the main character, although it would be kind of, well, okay, actually, I'm not expecting it to be, but it could just be, Trace they could make Trace trans, which would also be cool. And, considering that, I think this game does take, if not direct inspiration, definitely has Matrix-y elements to it, and Matrix can definitely be read as a trans narrative. Here we have a thing that forces you to realize that. Again, very good old-school tutorial design. Let's see. Yeah, so I would also be kind of uncomfortable with Tom Happ, who, as far as I'm aware, is not trans. I might be wrong about that. Sometime here. One thing I like about this game, actually, I'll get back to the trans stuff later, but but I do like how I feel like most of the guns in this game are actually like situational. Like, you actually do, like, this gun that I start out with, you could easily spend the whole game with. It actually gets more powerful with certain upgrades. There's certain upgrades that make all the guns more powerful, which could have been a problem, but I don't think it is in this case. Anyway, so as far as I'm aware, Tom Happ isn't trans, and this is all speculation. I don't actually think there was any indication that the main character would be trans. But I think that would be some cool representation. Although, assuming Tom Happ isn't trans, which again I don't think he is. I'm just clarifying. I might be overly clarifying. He is. It would make me a bit uncomfortable to have someone not trans trying to make a trans narrative. Although then again, maybe screw you. Then again, maybe talking about this trans, and I love it how I'm working off the premise that the next game is about trans. It's just speculation. I don't actually think that's going to be the case. There's nothing in the trailer to make me think that. But yeah. Anyway, so oh yeah, I don't have the thing I needed. Dang it! Alright, so yeah, I'll have to come back here. I think you come back here like towards the end of the game. Anyway, so what was it gonna say? Oh yeah, I can go up there either. How? Oh, I didn't know I was hitting anything. Anything, I should say. We're gonna head back and save. Whew. So I don't know. If there are any trans people watching this video, love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And regardless of who the main character is, I am very interested in Axiom Verge 2, and I will almost certainly cover it on this channel. So subscribe if you want to see that, if / when it happens. Yeah. So I guess it's all the impression that I am playing this game. I actually didn't have the sequel much on my mind when I started this. Yeah. So now we have the thing I need. And it's interesting because gun upgrades in a lot of Metroidvania games, and including this game, oftentimes don't... Oh, that thing can freak you out sometimes. Oftentimes don't actually act as the thing you need to progress. Yeah. So... yeah. Also, you can fill out... Again, I love the feeling of filling out the map, but it feels like you're discovering it for yourself. You don't just go to a map room and you're like... and it's like, yo, here's all the stuff. And I know that it doesn't fill out the entire map, but I still prefer this scenario. So this means there's a boss ahead, so if you didn't find a safe point, you should. Demon. Yeah, so Anthratos is... Well, you're not really supposed to know who that is. This game is definitely setting some stuff up, because, like, Anthratos is a major character, shall we say. Now, I'm also probably going to have to use a walkthrough. You know, as much as I praise this game, I do think that it can be a bit too obtuse at times. In individual moments, not in the broad strokes. Again, like the running to the beat of the music. I'm not gonna survive here. Yeah, the moving to the beat of the music is probably is very it's nice because again it lets you. It doesn't make this feel like it come out of nowhere, but it also doesn't like drive you crazy. There's a Brawl in the Family comic, which I'm referencing Brawl in the Family a lot recently, where Navi where like basically the joke is that Link gets super annoyed with Navi bothering him about his health, and he just uses Navi like he would any other fairy. Kind of dark but funny. I actually do want to talk very briefly when he mentioned, "Am I still me?" I think what he's asking is more, what like is my mind the same? Because if they just like take his mind and like put it in another body, then of course he's still him, you know. But if he's not, if they can alter his mind, then I would argue that he's not the same person. And, you know, it's the ship of Theseus, basically. If you just take his mind and put it in the same body, then of course it's going to be the same. But if there's even the possibility that your mind is altered, that's troubling, basically. Anyway, enough philosophy. Another boss fight attempt. Let's see. Also, we don't have to watch the intro again, which is very nice. Always an appreciated quality of life improvement. Yeah, I need to play Timespinner for this show. I actually beat it. I think it was, well, one, I think the backlash against it was ridiculous in all this. Steam reviews can be terrible sometimes. One thing I do like about it is it had a mode that was just straight up like, you cannot die. Like, you are immortal. Like, you had your life bar. It would be like if at the end of the last fight, I didn't die, but instead it just friggin' A. It just teleported me out of the, it just like refilled my bar, which I liked it because I still challenged myself to like see how far I could get without dying, but it also meant I could do what I like in Metroidvania games, you know, i.e. explore the world without feeling like, ow! Alright, well, freaking, without constantly worrying about death. Anyway, yeah, I'll cover Timespinner at some point in this game. I did enjoy it, but my mind might have been changed. Let's see. Man, I am just talking about all the controversial things today. I mean, some of these things, like trans representation, should not be controversial. Neither should some of the backlash against Timespinner being ridiculous. But I can understand why people would disagree with me about this game in particular and its design. Ow! Alright, I'm gonna cool the commentary a bit and try and focus on the boss fight. And then when I inevitably die again, you'll know that it was because I'm bad at video games and not because I was talking. Yeah, okay. Yes! Woo! Alright. Oh man, if I died there. I actually remember, I might be misremembering here, but I actually remember dying, to a boss once, and then right after killing it, and the game was just like, yeah, you killed it, you know? Because it saves right after you, you die or whatever. So here we have this drill, which I like. I do think the sound can be pretty grating sometimes. But I don't personally mind it very much. Let's see. Switch to this, switch to the Nova. opens a couple of ways to us. So this is an upgrade. I think I was talking about this one earlier. Let's see what it is. Yeah, so it increases your weapon damage. So this shows you that not some normal-looking walls can also be broken because secrets. Yeah. So let's see. Again, I like how there's just a blanket, you know, like your stuff gets stronger. And all the differences in items are you know, they're still there and you can still have preferences, but, you know, there's still variety, but you also don't feel pressured to, wait, hold on. You don't feel pressured to use a certain one. You don't feel like you have to use a certain one. One is better. You know. Again, there's a reason I used this gun in the first boss fight. Okay, I think there's something up there, if I remember right. My memory is pretty shaky about the later events in this game, so I could very well be wrong there. But it's also when that save. But I think I'm right. Then again, when have I ever been absolutely sure I've been right? Let's see. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking about. One thing I love about Metroidvania games is that they combine two of my favorite aesthetics of play, you know, reasons I play games, you know, discovery and narrative, which are two genres that can be at odds, you know. The most obvious example is open world games like, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto is an example, you know, where you've got, you bifurcate the story into, oh, what the? I had no, whoa, okay. Let's try that again, I guess. Where you bifurcate the story into two parts because you can't just let people do things out of order, otherwise they could ruin traditional narrative flow. There's a couple ways around it. One, you could just like not tell a traditional story. That's a totally fine way to do things. Or you can do what this game does and have, you know, definitely have exploration. Like I didn't need to go up there. But you could also make it's actually kind of interesting because it's it is basically gatekeeping it is basically being like, okay, you can't do this part until you get through this part of the story. But it doesn't feel arbitrary. It doesn't feel like we're trying to fit a round head into a square hole. It's like trying to fit a round head into a round hole. Like they fits much better. I don't know why I was using the drill there. Anyway, does that make any sense at all, Steam viewers, or am I just talking out of my ass? Let me know in the comments. As always, if anything I said was worthy of criticism, criticize me in the comments. I think this is another one of those, like, you come back here later towards the end. But, here, I'm gonna switch to the Axiom Disruptor. Yeah. Oh, there is something up here I can get. That's good. Oh, I think this increases range. Oh, no. Oh. Interesting. Okay, well that's cool. I like this one. It's kind of like a shotgun. Yeah, so let's see. Alright, we're gonna move on with the main story. I don't have a walkthrough pulled up right now. As we get later on, there are a couple times, like I remember there being specific points where I was just like, I have to look up a walkthrough. I have no idea what I was doing. Those were some of the parts I didn't like about this game. Not nearly as bad as Metroid 1. Holy crap. Metroid, I was not a fan of Metroid 1. Why does the screen... Oh, did I turn... Hold on. Crap. I might have turned VSync off by mistake. Can I break this? Okay. What? Whoa! That was my bad. Also, I need to remember this is not Symphony of the Night. You do not get experience points for killing enemies in this game. That being said, screw you. So I don't think I can go in here yet, or I can't get very far. So here we have one of the first instances of this game's signature story motifs and gameplay segments. I'm not going to look into it because it'll hurt me. Or at least I think it will. And I don't really want to run into it to find out, considering I'm already low on health. But yeah, so it looks like a dirty NES cartridge. That's one of the most interesting things about this game for me is it kind of... Ow! I forgot that they stay exactly where they were. Friggin' A! Okay. So, one of the most interesting things about this game for me is that it doesn't just work... And this is something I think other retro games have done, but I also can't think of any examples off the top of my head. It doesn't just replicate the design sensibilities and aesthetics of... Oh, I forgot that you could do that. It doesn't just replicate the design sensibilities and aesthetics of old games, but it replicates the kind of the unintended side effects that kind of came, or in some ways the culture, you know, like dirty cartridge looking thing, etc. Goodbye. Anyway, I'm just gonna avoid them. Especially use the better part of Valor. Let's see, I think there's a save point here. Nope. I will head back there eventually. Love that parallax scrolling. So this is like, I think it draws parallels to the health node. I like that. I like having more health in games. Every time there's a like downward thing, because of Super Metroid, I think, okay, I gotta try that. The far, I think it's right. The right wing here. Right wing. This is how you know I've been thinking too much about politics. The right side of the wall. Anyway. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so it seems to, I mean, there's a mechanic that, you know, I read about, what Tom Half said, and he explicitly said that it was inspired by like the Lost Worlds of Metroid, or like this weird side effect that you could do if you glitched through the game or something. I'll talk about that more when I don't really understand it, because I was born well after the time of the game. Like I was born the year the GameCube came out, so my first console was a Wii, so I didn't exactly... Okay, I don't think I can get up here yet. So, I'm not exactly the most well-versed in the culture of the time. But it is interesting to me how, especially as an outsider looking in, how it's not just a question, it's not just about it's not just about, again, not about the design sensibilities and the aesthetics, but a lot of the, like, I don't know how to put it, like, the other, it's like the parts that weren't intended. I don't know how to describe it. If you know how to, if you can put it into words better than I, or if you think you can put it into words better than I can, please let me know in the comments. I'm going to you. Let's. So I think I'm gonna go until I get here. I have another dirty cartridge effect. We have a skeleton. So again, this game can get really dark at points. So we might actually, in this video, I might actually get to one of the best examples of that I can think of. I mean, look at this. This looks like something. Sometimes it looks like something straight out of it. Yes, I can't make it through here. So I think I want to get to one of the signature, possibly the signature element of this game. If you play the game, you probably know what I'm talking about. If not, stay tuned. I think one of these is breakable. Oh yeah, here we go. Unfortunately, I can't get through there right now. Oh, I hate these things. They do a ton of damage and they're really hard to kill. So I'm just going to avoid them. Not like video games have all. There's actually a strategy guide of Skyward Sword I read ages ago. That literally, I think it might have been my introduction to the phrase "discretion is the better part of valor," and it certainly came in handy in a lot of games. So again, whoa, that's glitchy cartridge. Let's see here. My unintentional catchphrase. Let's see here. Okay, these things are also really freaking freaky. You get too close, like they feel like they're designed to be horror game. I mean, look, people are dead. That's not good. It looks like he's designed to be a horror monster. Yeah, like they stay super motionless, and then you get in. Like I knew what to do, but if you just walk straight in and talk to them and like try, not talk to them, but like even if you get too close, they'll jump at you. So they're kind of like a jump scare monster. Again, this game goes much darker than Metroid. I think we will get to the part I was talking about. I mean, this game does the ending I remember getting, and there are a couple endings. Depending on completion rates, which I'm not a big fan of, but the ending I got was very not a happy ending. I'm actually going to. It's not like Metroid where you save the aliens hopefully, and then you blast off and you win the day. I'm actually going to take a screenshot of this. This might be a good thumbnail anyway. Maybe that worked. If not, well, not the end of the world. Else Nova. So like, what's the inspiration here? This is what I want to know. Like who, like what design? I think there's a vague Russian sensibility to a lot of them. So I wonder if there's like it's like a Russian artist or whatever. Yeah. So this is another shotgun-y type of gun. Let's see. I'm actually curious as to how the game determines whether or not to give you health. Because I'm honestly kind of, my suspicion is that it waits and it's more likely to give it to you when you're at a certain threshold of health. So this is the part I was talking about. I mean, look, it's like it's a mass grave, like Metroid. I mean, can you imagine Nintendo putting this in? And again, Metroid is one of Nintendo's darker franchises. But, like, you can't imagine this in a Metroid game, right? Like, this is messed up. I mean, you literally have to walk over it. And by the way, when I say messed up, I mean, like, in the set, like, I'm not, like, saying it's bad that it's in the game, but it is, I'm saying that it's... So here we have the impending boss fight music. I'm not saying like Tom Mahab is a bad person for putting it in the game. I'm just saying that, again, it's a very dark thing to put in the game. And it's something that these retro sensibility games don't do very often. I also like how they color code the doors. It just decreases the chance of it just decreases the chance of it just decreases the chance of it just decreases the chance of, I don't want to walk into the wrong door and then, okay, this, I'm actually going to use a little cheat here, even bigger one. So, I will say that the bosses are very, they do feel very similar. Like, they feel way more interchangeable than they feel way more interchangeable than the bosses in, than the areas. That's what I'm trying to say. They feel more interchangeable in the areas. I'm generally not a fan of boss fights in this type of game. Anyway, yeah, so, it's not the best thing, but it's also not bad. Anyway, talk. This is me in every RPG. I want to talk? Okay, I can't talk. So I'm gonna use a cheat I found on the internet. Yay for iframes. Now I'm behind him, and I have I'm actually really curious as to whether this was intentional or not. Because on the one, well, I don't think this was intended. I don't think this was an intended strategy. I don't think this was intentionally designed into the boss fight. So I feel like there'd be some acknowledgement of it, but I'm also curious as to whether Tom Happ knew about this before the game like shipped. That's what I'm curious about. Because I personally liked it. I mean, there's a reason. I basically used it on pretty much all. These bosses all feel very, like, damage spongy. Okay, I think I thought of a better way for what I was trying to say. I think it's more, it's not just trying to capture the games themselves, but kind of the meta aspect of it. It's not just trying to capture the aesthetic and the design sensibilities. It's also doing things like those secrets that you can buy. You know, there's cheat codes in this game, and there's, but it's not just cheat codes, but it's like, again, talking the metagame stuff like dirty cartridges and like glitched out areas that you could find, stuff like missing note, which I know wasn't part of the area this is drawing from, but it's a similar idea. Also, all these things are before my time, so if there's some vital context I'm missing, let me know. I'd love to hear it. Just gonna have just having fun. These guys. Shoot this guy. Let's see. Yeah, I know I'm a filthy cheater, but again, I don't really care about the combat in these types of games. There we go. I just realized that the background elements are also moving to the beat of the music. It's such a little detail, but it gives such a it makes the game feel so much better. I mean, kinesthetics is like, otherwise known as game feel. It's like it's one of those things where it's one of those areas of design and storytelling where it's really the little things that matter. Tell all. Isn't tell all? I'm actually curious as to where all these names came from. Because they all feel very like, I don't know, tell all it just sounds kind of like tell all. Maybe because it's the only boss that tried to talk to you. Okay, so this is the signature. This is where we get the game's signature not achievement. The address disruptor. So basically, this is a gun that lets you glitch out. Again, this is one of the metagaming aspects of this game. It lets you just glitch enemies, and like, yeah, I got an achievement for hacking. And this is like straight up most maybe I should be a speedrunner. No, I watched a speedrun of like Super Meat Boy, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm never going to. Well, not I'm done, but like I'm never gonna speedrun this. So like, and like, pretty much, I think every enemy in the game can be glitched in some way or another. So we're gonna have fun with that next time. Save. Back to title. I mean, yeah, sure. I do like how you can save whenever, like, even if you die, it'll save your progress. That's another little thing I really appreciate. VSync's on. That was weird. Anyway, thank you for watching, esteemed viewers. I'm kind of binging. I'm recording a lot over Thanksgiving because I've got finals week coming up, so I'll put my nose to the grindstone. But then I'm down and I'll record more, and I'll probably be recording during finals. Just not as much. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you like the video, be sure to give it a like. If you love the video, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell. If you want, also, that's more if you want to get notified. You know what the buttons do. You've heard this a million times before. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. They all those things help with the algorithm, so I'd really appreciate them. Be sure to there's Twitter and Letterboxd and link below, and a link, and check out Over the Fourth Wall, friend's channel, and also links to my Twitter and Letterboxd. I think I already mentioned that. I don't know. I'm tired. Other than that, oh yeah, share the video with anyone you think would like it. I've been Jekyllstein Gray. I'll see you in another video. Bye bye.